Guess who's back? Back again. Aries back, back, back. Tell a friend. Guess who's back? Guess who's back? Guess who's back? I created a monster. I created a monster. You're not a monster. Alright people, welcome back to another video. It's been a while, a couple weeks since I've shot anything, and I'm happy to be back in front of the camera. It's kind of like therapy. Yeah, I'm gonna be talking today about breastfeeding, what to expect, some things that I went through, and I'm just gonna be talking freely. I have a list, but not in any particular order. Yeah, I'm gonna be talking today about the breastfeeding saga. First things first, this was like maybe a week before he was coming, and I didn't have a breast pump and didn't know what to get. People kept saying, oh, your insurance covers it. Well, how do I go about getting it? Because what does that mean, insurance cover it? And I really didn't have the money, a couple $100s, to go and get one and then get reimbursed. So what I did was I looked on the back of my insurance card. I called it and they said, oh, you are covered for a breast pump. And they said you have to call one of these numbers, one of these 3 companies, and they will get you a free one. So she gave me the number. I said, just give me all of them, and then whoever I can get to first, that's what I'm gonna do. So I just called the first number that she gave me, and they said, hey, they said, well, you are covered. And then they asked me which one did I want, and I said, can you just give me the one that's most popular? And they said, okay, that will be the Medela pump. And pump right here, I got it plugged in. I actually just pumped. So this is the pump right here. There's some, you can Google it, YouTube it, you'll figure out how to use your pump, but you need to get a pump. And I ordered it. They asked me my address to send it, and I literally got it the next day, like the next day at night. So it came within a day. And the only other thing that they needed was they needed the number or the fax to your provider. Thank God I was at a birth center where they always get back to people right away. After I had my baby, I went to, well, the lactation specialist actually came to me. So she came to my house twice that week. So it's like the next day, then the following day, and it was very helpful having her. And the one thing that she did was she taught me how to hold the baby, and how to sit in the chair, and how to do, certain things, which was very, very helpful. I was dealing with a 4th degree tear, so I couldn't really sit down comfortably, but I had got a chair, a cushion. I had a butt pillow where I could kind of sit forward a little bit. The one hold that I always did that she taught me, which was my go-to, was the football hold. So when I breastfed him, this is before my milk came in. This is like day 2. You smiling? So this is how, he was much smaller then. This is how I would hold him. I would first get him completely undressed with just his pamper. I was always naked, so I always, literally every single time I breastfed him, I was skin to skin. I would take him off, and then I would hold his head like this, and I would cuff him under. He was smaller at the time. And I would put my boob up, and we were sitting in the chair, and I would hold him like this, and he would just latch on. And so I didn't think he was getting anything, but he was getting, I think it's called colostrum. He was getting that. You've been a good model. So I would do the football hold with him every single time. For the first 2 days, he was just sucking, and I guess he was getting something. I don't know. And then like maybe twice we gave him some, you can get the store-bought milk that's already ready. So we had one, like we gave him like maybe 1 or 2 of those. So yeah, that was that. Then day 3, I wish somebody would have prepared me for day 3 because I had no idea. So after the lactation specialist came over, she showed me how to use the pump, right? So I'm actually gonna show y'all. So this thing right here, you plug it in like this, and then you have the power cord. The power cord goes on this side, right? And then you have the thing that goes on your boob, and then you have this is all dirty because I just used it. You have this. Now, what you don't realize you need to know is how much ounces and everything is. Side note, look at my thing, y'all. So this week when I came home, my dog got a hold of both of these and ate and chewed on them for a little while. Anyway, so this right here, this is 5 ounces. Let me tell you, I don't know nothing about ounces, and now I know. So this is 5 ounces. This is pretty much a full bottle, 5 ounces for me at this point. But a baby can drink up to, they can maybe drink 2 ounces, which is around here. So it's good to learn what your ounces and everything are. All right, so you put that on there. Then you hook this into there. Then you press, if you're using one pump, then you plug this little thing in here. And then you use one, okay? If you use both of them, then they're both suctioned in. Now, one thing that I did was I actually, I poked holes with a scissors in all my bras, and I just I put the pump in there and I have it sticking out so that I can be hands-free, because before I was just holding them all the time and trying to hold them and take care of the baby. It just wasn't working out. Another thing parents do is they use this, and this has not worked for me at all. They use a Haka pump. What you do is you can feed the baby on one, and then you catch the milk coming out of this one on the other. So what people don't realize, or what women don't know, which I didn't know, is whenever one nipple is stimulated, the other one is stimulated. If you're feeding your baby on one, milk will come out of the other. Or if you start leaking in one, they both start leaking. You want to save all that precious milk. So what you do is you squeeze like this, you put it on your nipple. But I found that this hurt my nipple. Like it hurt. Like I can't, and my nipples are already super chapped and hurt to the touch. I personally couldn't. I just can't. So like the other day I just used it because I was breastfeeding him. All I did was caught what was coming out. I didn't latch it on and secure it because it hurts my nipples. So Haka pump for me, now it wasn't a go. There's a couple different things you can do. This thing like sucks your boob in, it kind of stimulates, and it takes about a minute or two, and then the milk will start flowing out. All the baby wants is to be on mama. I remember he was so tiny, he would just like, he'd ball up and just be sitting on my chest and just be under me, and the baby is just wants to be there. Like your heartbeat is familiar, your body, your smell, your aura, like the baby wants to be on you, and the dad is just like hanging out, helping. And you kind of start looking at him like, ugh, like, you know. But then you look at the little baby face and be like, oh, thank you, Daddy, for giving me him. Yes, we love you. We love you, huh? My lactation specialist told me 4 weeks before you go back to work, start collecting milk. I really didn't do that. Like I collected like maybe a cup, like maybe 5 or 6 bags of milk. And let me show you. Like I told you, I just pumped. So this, I had like 5 or 6 of these, but they was a little more fuller. So this is about 3 ounces. This is about 3 ounces, and what you do is you put it in this bag. So you pour it in, and then you get all the air out. You clamp it down, and then you're gonna write on here the date and time, and then you lay it flat, and then you're gonna put it into the freezer. And I'll show you guys how I do that. So I started collecting. It got 2 weeks before I had to go to work, and I'm like, okay, I gotta start collecting and building because I'm gonna be taking him to my mom's, and I want him to have, you know, milk. And so what I did was I just only breastfeed, and I stopped pumping. And I wasn't consistent with my pumping. I was like being lazy. I was not sticking to a schedule. I was up all night. I would just put him on my breast whenever. And half the time he was just sitting on there using me as a pacifier. So what I did was I made a little schedule, and I made alarms in my phone to pump. And I did, for the first 2 days, I did every 2 hours. Even if nothing came out or a little bit came out, I did it every 2 hours, right? Then I'm like, I don't know how to store it. I don't know how to pump. and I didn't know how long stuff could be in a bottle. I didn't know how long it could be in the refrigerator. So I had to research all that. Just to give you the quick, if it's sitting in, if you pump, right, you can pump and you could leave it in here, and there's a little top, you can throw it in the fridge. If you put it in the fridge, it has, I only keep it in the fridge or use it for about 24 hours. If I'm not going to use it within 24 hours, I freeze it. So shelf life, if it's just sitting there, what I'll do is I'll pump and I'll put a bottle ready for him, and that can last 4 to 6 hours. So that's without going to the fridge. If it's anything past 4 to 6 hours, I would toss it. That's just the rule I've been using. Maybe a couple times it went a little bit longer, and I was like, look, you gonna have to take one for the team, and he was fine. So maybe I'll make a video on how to collect, how to freeze and all that, because I had no idea how to do that. So anyway, my milk supply had went down, so I'm like, okay, I gotta pump up and just try and get my milk supply up. So every single time I massaged, and what I did was I'll pump on both sides, and I have them in my bra, you know, use both sides. And what I would do is I put in the bottle, and then the other one I would give it to him right away, and then the other one I put in a bottle waiting for him for the next feeding. Then the next time I pump, I put both of those into a freezer bag. So every other feeding was for him. So I will have one, or I pump, I put one right away in the bottle for him. He'll go to sleep, and then I have one waiting for him. And it might be only 2 ounces, it might be 4 ounces. Sometimes it varies, but sometimes I'll fill both of them up, which is, you know, I'll do that maybe twice in a 24-hour period. Not every single time I'm going to produce that much milk. For him, sometimes he only need like 3 ounces, and he'd be straight. It was, to start this, obviously I didn't have all this milk, and so it was like a couple of times I just skipped the feeding, and I realized every time he's crying, he doesn't need to eat. So I skipped him and put him on my boob for a little bit, and he was fine. And that was how I was able to build. Doing every other thing, I was able to build up a little supply. Maybe like, now I had like 12 of those little bags, maybe a little bit more. And I was just all day, all night, just getting his milk supply. Now that I have his milk supply, and now that I'm like good, now it's time to go back to work. So I've only been back to work for a week. In that time period, I'm more on a schedule. And so what I do is at like 5 in the morning, I get up, and by like 6 a.m. I get to my mom's house, and then I pump there. And then I immediately, from that pump, I give him a bottle, and then I put him back to sleep. And so he sleep for a couple hours before, she doesn't have to do anything with him. He sleep. So I pump, give him a bottle right away. And then I put my other boob, I put that in, so I make 2 bottles. And then I give her like 3 or 4 packs of milk just to have, and then I unthaw one out, because he only has all the bottle. If you can see that bottle back there, I just saved 2 of those. And shout out to Tony, because I had no idea how much he was gonna need while I was gone, because I really wasn't keeping track. But she told me around how much her baby had while she was at work, so that was kind of around what I wanted to shoot for. So I pumped that, right? Then I go to work, and then during lunch I pump again, and I'm able to pump like 6 ounces at work. So what I do is I have little ice pads, and I put them in my lunch pail, and then I save that. And then as soon as I see him, so I go get him from my mom, as soon as I see him, I give him that milk. And then I pump again that night, and then I'll save that next pump, I put that in the freezer. And then the next pump I give to him. Then the next pump in the middle of the night, I put that in the freezer. And then the next pump, I'm at my mom's house pumping for him for the day. So that's how I do it. Just be ready for a long saga of going through the motion, doing things right, doing things wrong, doing things that people are going to say is wrong. And it doesn't even matter. So what? It's not that serious to be on a schedule and doing things right. Like, you're going to learn things on the way. And if you guys have learned some cool tips and tricks, let me know. Post in a comment. I think I'm going to make a video of me actually doing my routine, maybe for like a 24-hour routine, because that was really helpful, watching you guys' stories and seeing the information you guys put out. So I really appreciate that information. So far being a mom has been so wonderful. Yeah, but let me tell you, breastfeeding is literally number one, top of the line on the list. And I gotta go feed my dog and let him out, so I'm gonna let y'all go. He is on his way to sleep. And yeah, I'll see y'all later. Thanks for watching this video. Bye.
Very little information. She had planned on telling me, and she had a plan. I only had two things to go on. One is that I was born in McCaysville, Georgia, and that I was born at a clinic that was run by a doctor named Thomas Hicks. It was time to go. Adopted daughters. How's your Mandarin class going? Not for it or is me. And Craig is very supportive.